Even though his family had forgotten and sat and enjoyed their meal, he couldn't help but keep an eye on the people at the table across the street. He could easily hear the drama they were creating. They cheered loudly with smeared lipstick and eyeliner covering their faces. These girls didn't know what he was up to. He just wanted to take his family for a special meal. They hadn't gone out to eat in months, and he thought he would treat them. He was a patient man. He had been waiting behind the car that had been trying to get out of the car for ages. When it finally came out, he waved to the driver and smiled and set off. Finally, he could park. As Tom was about to drive in a car, he sped around the corner. The car was full of young adults. They snapped into place just as he was about to drive in. Tom didn't even get a chance to pull up his handbrake. He could feel his stomach twisting in a knot with his hands clenched so tightly on the steering wheel that his knuckles turned white. "Did you think you had a right to it? How dare you?" Tom tried to breathe, rolled down his window, and said politely, "Sorry, but I've been waiting for this seat." The young girl who was driving grinned at him and said, "What a shame. Your name wasn't on it." The girls got out of their car and giggled as they made their way to the nearby Applebee. He knew he would return to them. He was slowly piecing together an idea in his head while he was having dinner with his family. He was still trying to enjoy the steak dinner he ordered and the company. But when he turned to the girls who had come in before him, he could see them firing shot after shot. They were hammered. Even the driver looked like they were getting drunk. So much for a proven driver. Then his idea hit him. He called the waiter and gave him $20. The waiter listened to Tom's plan and grinned. Apparently he didn't like the girls any more than he did. They had been causing him trouble all night. Tom's family had just finished eating and were ready to leave. He paid for dinner and whispered to the waiter, "Wait 10 minutes after we've left. Then go to these girls and tell them that someone called with a message. Someone encrypted their car and they should have parked elsewhere." Tom looked back at Applebee one more time before getting in the car with his family and driving away without touching the girl's car. He hoped this would teach the girls about karma, but it escalated so much more than he could have imagined. When the group heard that someone had encrypted their car, they were outraged, freaked out, and called the police, and made a huge scene in the restaurant. The group had demanded that the police find the perpetrator. Although the cops couldn't find a scratch, the girls wouldn't take no for an answer. The two officers did not appreciate her tone. Since the group was drinking, the cops could easily have accused them of public poisoning. But they waited to get in the car. The girls stumbled to their car and got in. Their drunk driver turned the key in the ignition, and they were greeted with the sound of the police siren behind them. Here Tom couldn't help but sniff his coffee while the waiter relayed the story. What about the charge? The group had started their evening by cutting off a man and being rude to him. They ended their night each with a DUI and public poisoning quotes. Tom and the waiter both theorized that it was a lesser charge at first, but the group likely gave the police the same treatment they gave them. Let's just hope the girls have learned their lesson. But what was the public opinion like? Aside from the server saying it was the easiest $40 he's ever made, Tom gave him another $20 a few days later. Some people think it went too far for the little act of parking. Others disagreed. Lots of voices got involved, saying it was exactly what they deserved. There was also a bigger point that some people pointed out. Tom's revenge may have been easy, but the result was enormous. Without his plan, the group would probably have done something incredibly dangerous. People could have been hurt, or worse. What about Tom? Some wonder if this story is even true, since they can't confirm names, find police reports, or produce pictures. We all know that at least someone would have taken at least one blurry photo. But is that even important? There are 2 lessons here for everyone. Never underestimate your elders. It may be a cliché, but it's still true. These can be children for parents or even adult children with the elderly. They are often smarter and much smarter at dealing with problems, not to mention past experiences to fall back on. The second lesson? Being a brat will only last so long, then life or karma, if you believe in things like that, will eventually come back and bite you in the butt. And if you're really unlucky, that bite could end up as a prison sentence and a point on permanent record.